While it feels like Harry Styles was hanging out with the Hurricanes just yesterday, the first month of hockey season is officially over, and what a ride that was. It's so easy to forget how much stuff just actually happened, so one thing I'm going to be doing at the end of every month is going over some hockey superlatives. It's like your high school yearbook, but better. First up for October's superlative is most relatable moment. Now, there's not much that hockey players can do on the ice to make me feel like I can relate to them in any way, shape, or form, given that I can't even play intramural sports without breaking my bones and needing surgery and weeks of physical therapy to recover. But enter Brandon Duhaime. The Minnesota Wild rookie fell during his rookie lap, which is 100% something that I would do, and then later scores the most unassuming first NHL career goal by trying to pick his stick up off the ice and the puck bounced off his skate. The good news here for Brandon is that the goals going forward can only get prettier. Next up, we have most likely to start a fight. Maybe I'm just delirious from my surgery, but it feels like there have been a lot more fights at the beginning of this season than I'm used to. I don't know, maybe it's the normal amount, maybe it's not. I'm sure somebody will yell at me and tell me either way. But with all these fights came one of the most interesting tactics I've ever seen with Foligno and his Superman punch. Throwing a Superman punch will definitely get you the superlative of most likely to start a fight. Moving on to the next one, we have most likely to bounce back. I know it is early in the season and we all like to jump to conclusions, but there are a handful of teams that had very high expectations that just currently aren't living up to them. And one of those teams who I think is most likely to bounce back is the New York Islanders. Everyone was loving on this team before the start of the season. We all had some fun talking about how they never get the respect they deserve, and then all of this hype, and then you look at the standings, you're like, that's interesting. I didn't expect them to be towards the bottom of the Metro. But there is no reason to panic if you're an Islanders fan. I mean, their schedule has not been forgiving at all. They didn't even have a single regular season home game in the month of October, which feels slightly criminal. And they only have 3 losses, and 2 of those losses came from 2 of the best teams in the NHL right now. Either way, this Isles team still has it in them, and it'll be awesome for them to get home in front of their fans for the first time this month. On the flip side of that superlative, we have our next one, which is most likely to fall short. Which team is performing better than expected, but ultimately going to let their fan base down? And there's a handful of teams in this category, and it's really tempting for me to pick a team like the Sharks, but I have to go with the Buffalo Sabres, which I don't know, can their fan base be let down at this point? I'm not sure, but it seems like this is the best way to go. There was no team that had lower expectations, maybe the Arizona Coyotes, but the expectations for them this season were literally the floor. And to see them hanging out there in their division standings next to one of the best teams in the NHL and really just hanging out pretty high in the NHL league standings is just, you know, they've earned their spot, but it's just unexpected right now. But this is how every season goes for Buffalo. It is only a matter of time before this team goes on their inevitable 10-game losing streak. Moving on to the next one, we have best celebration. Before I say a winner, I want to give an honorable mention to the Seattle Kraken. In case you missed it, the Kraken have introduced a new fun tradition after their home game wins. For their 3 stars of the game, instead of just coming out and giving a little stick wave or throwing a puck into the crowd, they've introduced a salmon toss. And it's not a real salmon, obviously, it's a salmon plushie, but according to ESPN, before they went full throttle with the idea, they hired an Indigenous peoples consultant who acts as a filter for some of their ideas, as the team wanted to make sure that this new tradition wouldn't be an insult. I think that's awesome, and while it's not technically a celebration, it's more of a tradition, I just thought it deserved an honorable mention in this list, and this was the best spot for it. So, the best celebration. This one actually came very early in the month, and it came from Jack Hughes. The goal itself was incredible, and then he followed it up with a celebration that I wasn't even sure was legal at first. Hoping he can have a speedy recovery so we can get back to more fun celebrations like this one. Next up, we have best dressed. I love that we are starting to see teams relax their dress codes. What I don't love is that players on those teams have given us nothing yet. Luckily, other players have stepped in, and it has been a battle for this top spot, but this month the best dressed award goes to Patrick Laine. I mean, the man said he got a car to match his beanie. Now that's some dedication. Now he will need to keep up this level of dedication if he wants to hold this position, as there is a lot of competition, which is kind of surprising in the NHL. Moving on to our next superlative, we have best couple. And while there were certainly a lot of good moments throughout this entire month, unfortunately the competition ended very early in October with Ovechkin and Backstrom's life insurance commercial. Good hockey commercials are few and far between, and we have a great one on our hands here. And while they call themselves a duo in the commercial, they take home best couple in October. Next up, we have class clown. And while this usually refers to humor, we're gonna go a little bit of a different route here, mainly because I have to find a way to make fun of the Leafs in here. And while they did give us plenty of ways to do so, this is where they are fitting into that. The class clown goes to the fan who decided to throw his jersey on the ice after Game 5 in a loss against the Sharks. Listen, people are free to do with that what they want, but dude, Game 5? That's certainly gotta be a dang it. Moving along, we have our 9th superlative for the month of October, and that is most likely to get injured. And sadly, there is a lot of competition in this category, which we never want to see. But I had to go with one of my favorite sequences from this entire month, and it came at the very end. The Detroit Red Wings blocking 7 shots in 30 seconds. Just 30 seconds of pure chaos. I love to see it. But blocking that many shots in that short amount of time, while it feels like playoff hockey, just also certainly feels like a great way to get yourself injured. And for our final superlative, we have our biggest winner from the month of October, and that is the Calgary Flames. Trust me, I am shocked to see them here. Before the start of the regular season, I've never seen a fan base just so resigned to the fact that their team is probably going to be very meh, and they can say that they weren't, but you're liars. We all know the truth. Not even the most dedicated fan believed they were going to start off the season like this. Top of their division, I mean, in the top ranks of the league. Will they stay there? I mean, they've done nothing to show me that they don't deserve to be where they currently are, but there is still a lot of hockey left to be played. It's still very early in the season. So there you have it, October's NHL superlatives. Which ones would you have given out, or which ones would you like to see included next month? Be sure to let me know in the comments below, and as always, cheers to hockey. Oh, that was hard to reach.